All right, so hey YouTube, this is Tool Lover 76. This is my first real video that I'm trying to put on my channel here. I'm gonna start this channel, and I'd ask for your support. Hit the subscribe, the follow, hit the like, hit the share, do all the stuff. But this is gonna be videos about I'll probably do some reaction videos on other stuff and political political commentary, but it's not going to be real fancy schmancy at first. I got to learn how to use like editing tools and maybe audio manipulation tools, equalizers and stuff, because I feel like I'm having to yell into this microphone up my voice. So if it cuts out, you'll know why. It's because I'm not speaking loud enough. So turned up the mic volume all the way, and I'm trying to make sure I can tell this story without it cutting out. So you see me looking up to the side, it's kind of got a monitor up there. I'm trying to watch the sound, the way the audio is being picked up. But let's see a little bit about myself. I'm a 49-year-old man living in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And this is going to be a story about some trouble I got into some time back. Back in about 2016, I started going down a really dark road, got into opiates and stuff, and started doing heroin. It was back after the big opioid crisis. They shut down all the pill mills. So a lot of heroin flooded into the town. So we started partaking in that kind of stuff, and I got a lot of trouble with that. Long story short, I got sentenced to prison for like 15 months. I had to go. It's 2 years, but I basically just did 15 months. This is going to be a story about an experience I had when I was in prison. And I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any stories quite like it, let me know, and I can maybe tell your story on this channel. But something that happened to me while I was in prison, and I'm gonna have a couple stories like this because there's a lot of crazy shit that happened in the 15. It was a wild, wild time, but it was also a time that turned my life around, and I will never go back to doing those things I was doing because of the time that I spent in prison. But so I was sent to a place called Blackwater Correctional. It's in Milton, Florida. It's a privately owned prison. So it's indoor, air conditioned, not as bad as the DC prisons, the DOC prisons, which are like warehouses with no air conditioning, just big fans and open windows and stuff. It's really horrible. But so what happened was I got there, and let's see, the first day I walked in, this guy walks up to me, starts talking to me, and just I have no idea. I don't know anybody. I don't know how prison works. I don't know what to think or what to do. This guy walks in. I know there's a different variety of people: black people, white people, young people, old people. But this kind of like younger guy walks up to me and just starts asking me questions about myself and stuff. Do I get commentary? Do I have people on the outside? This and that. I'm like, thinking, wow, this guy's really friendly. I'm gonna be this guy's. I mean, I made a friend on my first day. He's really cool. So. He offered me something that they were calling Tunchi back then. And I had no idea what this stuff was. But come to find out, it turns out this stuff is like the K2 legal marijuana, but they take it and they spray it with a wasp poison, like an actual bug killer, like black flag, wasp poison. And then they let it dry, and then they roll it up in these tiny little joints, and you smoke just a little bit at a time. And I swear to God, it makes you lose your mind. You go unconscious almost immediately. Sometimes you'll do stuff that you don't remember. Sometimes you get sick and throw up all over the place and just swim around in it like it's like you don't know what is going on when you do this stuff. And it's sometimes it's stronger than others. But I had heard about it in jail, but I wasn't sure what it was. So this guy, like, well, hey, if you ever want any Tunchi, let me know. I got you. And you can just pay me back later. I'm like, okay, cool. This guy seems pretty nice. Maybe I'll get high with him. So I start smoking this stuff with him, and I just lose my absolute mind. And all of a sudden, these dudes threatening me and telling me like they're gonna rape me and kill me, and like maybe I was just hallucinating this. I'm not sure, but I got super freaked out. And within 2 days, 3 days of being in this dorm, I did what's called checked in. I went to the prison guards and I said, "Look, man, these guys are trying to kill me. I'm afraid for my life. You got to get me out of here immediately." So this guy's name was Uzi. So they send me off to solitary confinement, and I'm there for a couple weeks. And psych people come in, they start talking to me like, "Well, tell us what's going on." So after being in there for a few weeks, I'm like, "Dude, I got to get out of this place. It's horrible. I'd rather deal with the gangbangers and the murderers the killers out there than be locked up in this little room for this long. So I told him, you know what? I changed my mind. Just let me back into General Pop. I don't care. I'll deal with it on my own terms, whatever. So they released me back into General Pop, but I go to a different dorm than the first one I was in. But I'm walking to the dorm and I'm like, well, at least I'm away from that guy and his buddies who wanted to kill me, and I'll be with a new group of people that I can mess with. But as I'm walking to the dorm, the dude is in the dorm right next to mine, and he sees me and he runs over and he tells his buddy J Rock, "Hey J Rock, make sure you look after this guy. He's under us." And I'm like, "What does that even mean? Under us? What is it? What are you talking about?" But this dude J Rock takes me into his room and he's like, "Hey man, what's up? Uzi said you're under us, so I'm gonna look out for you. If you ever need anything, you come to me. Whatever goes on, anybody messes with you, you come talk to me. You need anything, talk to me. I'm J Rock. I'm cool. I'm in here for life, so don't worry. I ain't going nowhere." I'm like, "Oh well, that's another thing. I was in there for some measly little drug charges, and I'm like 45 years old. I'm in here with dudes that are in their 20s that are doing life in prison for murder. Dude, there were 60 people in the dorm. At least 30 of them were lifers in there for killing somebody or doing something crazy where they got life in prison. I could not believe I was around these people, and I'm only there for a year and a half. I'm like, this is nuts. Not even a year and a half, like a year and a quarter. But anyway, J Rock, back to the story. J Rock is like, "Okay, man, don't worry. I'll look out for you. What you. Well, I was smoking that tune over there. Did you happen to have any? Like, yeah, I can get you some. Don't worry about it." So I start smoking Tunchi and hanging out in this dude's room with his buddies, and they're much nicer, dude. Really cool. They're like asking me questions about, what's things like out there now? How are you? What, just general questions about my well-being, what life is like on the outside, and like how did I get up there? Like, what's my story like? But I'm smoking this shit, and I'm like losing my mind again. I didn't learn the first time, and I'm like thinking these paranoid thoughts, and I'm like, gosh, this is crazy. So after a little while, I'm sitting there for an hour, and it starts to come down. And then J Rock stands up and he's like, "Hey, everybody, go ahead and get on here. I want to talk to my cracker for a second." He starts calling me his cracker. "I'll talk to my cracker real quick." I'm like, "Oh, great. What the hell is this?" So he starts trying to explain to me, like, we're men. Uh, Sometimes, men have needs. On the outside, you might, you act a certain way, but when you come in here, sometimes you got to do things you wouldn't normally do on the outside. And he starts pacing back and forth in this little tiny room, in his dorm, his actual cell room that we're in. He grabs this bottle of lotion, and he sticks it down his pants like a gun, kind of like a gun. And he starts saying, you know, "In here, men have needs, and like we do shit that we wouldn't normally do on the outside, but nobody's gonna look down on you or nothing, and like, don't worry, if you let me do what I want, then you don't have to worry about nobody else messing with you in here." He's like, look out the little window," and he had a little blind on his window. He pulls it back, and there's two or three dudes hanging out on the railing outside. He's like, "Every single one of those dudes want to come in here and fuck you." "What are you talking about, bro?" And he's like, "They all want in here. I'm the only thing standing in front of them." Like my first day out of solitary confinement after being in this prison, not even a week, and I'm already thinking I'm about to get raped by this dude. And he's pacing back and forth. He's like, you could go ahead and just give it to me the easy way, or we can do it the hard way if you want, because I'm gonna get it no matter what. So he pulls out this padlock and puts it in his sock and starts swinging it around. And I'm continuing like, "Dude, no, I don't roll that way. I'm sorry you feel like this, but I don't do that kind of shit. Not down with that. I'm not gay." He's like, "It doesn't matter if you're gay. Nobody's really gay. But sometimes you just got to do things, man, to protect yourself and to do stuff for other people." And I'm like, "Dude, you're out of your mind, bro. Like, you are crazy. I'm not doing nothing like that. You're going to have to kill me. You are going to have to kill me." He starts swinging his little lock and a sock around like, "Okay, bro, you want to go that way? We can go that way, man." And I'm like, "All right." He's like, "Dude, just sit on my bed real quick." And I'm like, "No, I'm not sitting on your bed. Go ahead, man. Just sit down. There's nothing going to happen. Just sit on the bed, just let's just talk about this some more." I'm like, "No, dude, I'm not sitting on the bed. Something told me, do not sit on this bed." dude, I was scared out of my mind. But I just kept telling him, no, dude, I'm not sitting on your bed. You're not getting me. I don't care what you got to do. You want to beat me in the head, you're going to have to fuck me unconscious because I am not letting you do shit to me. You are absolutely crazy. It ended up, I ended up standing up like I'm fixing to fight this dude because he's got this lock and he's swinging around trying to mess with me, trying to get me to, give my butthole to him. I'm like, no, bro, you are just going to have to do it. Hit me now because I'm not playing like this. He gets up in my face and he starts swinging this lock around like he's about to crack me in the head. And he's like, all right, man, get the hell out of here. And my heart sank and just like, I was like, holy shit, did that really just happen? So I got up out of there as quick as I could, man. I could not believe what had just happened. And then come to find out later, like he's a big gangbanger. Like he's in a prison gang. And all these other dudes like, yeah, we frown on homosexuality and this and that. And I'm like, that doesn't seem to be the case in this guy's mind. 'Cause he definitely wanted some of this butthole. So that was a wild experience I had within the first week of being in prison. It was absolutely horrific. I could not believe how scared I was. And then the next day he had classes and stuff. So he went off to school, and I had just gotten there, so I hadn't been assigned to class or anything like that. So he goes off his classes during the day. He's gone most of the day, and I'm just wandering around, getting to know other people, playing cards, meeting some other guys and stuff. And he comes back in, and he's just sitting there on the rail, watching the TV. And I'm like, "Hey, J Rock, what's up, man?" He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Well, well, I was pretty high last night, yesterday afternoon, whatever. What was that bullshit about you were talking about in your room?" He's like, "Man, I was just trying to see where your heart was at. I just wanted to test you." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." But in my head, I'm like, "Bull crap, dude. You were not trying to test nothing. You were trying to test to see if I was going to give you this white butthole, crazy ass dude." Because he was like 22 years old. He's in there for life for killing some people because he was a gangbanger on the streets. Can't remember the name of the gang that they have in prison, but it's like a prison-only gang. And it's a shoot off. It's an offshoot of like the Bloods or Crips or somebody like that. But it's like, I can't remember the name. But I'll figure it out and I'll tell you all in the next video that I make. But I just thought that was a crazy story. And I have some other stories too about like smuggling things in from visitation. You know what I mean? But y'all leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this story. Like, it was crazy. I was so scared. And I continued to mess with this dude even though that happened. Like, there was no escaping him. But he never approached me like that again, except for one time when I was in the shower getting cleaned up, and I turn around. Like, I always tried to take a shower by myself, even though there's like 8 stalls in there. I turn around, and this dude is standing behind me, like across the shower from me in his own stall, but he's just long stroking it, man. And I'm like, turn around, I look, and he's like, "Turn around, don't look at me." I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? So he just kept saying, "Don't you fucking look at me, bro." And I'm like, okay, whatever, man. And I just washed off, finished up as quick as I could, got dried off, and got back to my cell, got dressed. And man, dude, there was some scary shit that goes down in those prisons. Like, you would not even believe what goes on. It's just like Oz. If anybody's ever seen that HBO show Oz, it's almost just like that. It's like these dudes have nothing better to do. There's no women. They don't care if you're a dude. Like, I don't think they're gay on the outside, but in the prison, the rules and regulations of the gang members and stuff, you're not supposed to be gay. There's no homosexuality unless the person that you're getting with is a bitch or like a punk, like someone who pretends to be a female. But in that case, they have to shave and keep themselves like looking like a female. They can't just be a dude that you have sex with. They got to be looking like a female. They got to do your laundry and like make you dinner every night and keep themselves shaved smooth, and just like, it's really sick stuff that goes on in these prisons, man. But anyway, and this was a private one in called Blackwater. I went to other prisons. Like, I got transferred out of there. I'll tell you that story too at some point. But I got transferred to a DOC prison, which is Department of Corrections, which is run by the state, and it's way different. People are there are way cooler. just like you got work camps where you can go out and do work on the streets and stuff, like when you see prisoners, prisoners on the roadway, like stuff like that you see out when you're driving around. But man, this experience like scarred me for life. I'll never forget J Rock and the time he tried to rape me when I was high on Tunchi, which is wasp killer, wasp poison sprayed on K2. It's crazy, man. The things that we did in that prison, the things that happened in that prison, the things that they get away with, and the things that they do, absolutely insane. But leave me a comment down below if you have any kind of story like that you want me to share. Or you just want to share with me. You don't want me to tell nobody else? I don't care. I won't tell nobody. But man, let me know if anybody else has experienced things like this. And follow the channel because it's going to be a journey. Like you're going to see the channel progress into different stages. Right now I'm just starting out. I don't know a lot of stuff. I know how to make a recording. I know how to upload it to YouTube. I just got this. I'm trying to figure out this microphone audio thing. I'm going to have to put my face right up to it, and I don't like that, but it's okay. For now, this is what I'm going to do. And I got my camera right in front of me. I got 2 monitors so I can do reaction videos on stuff, when I look at X or YouTube videos of other people. And I can, like, give you my opinion on things that are going on in the news, political commentary, things like that. But you're going to see this channel progress and, like, get better and better. Like, I'm going to learn how to use editing software and maybe edit in some pictures and some breakaways and things like that. But right now, I don't know nothing about that stuff. I don't even know how to do a thumbnail. I can't imagine what the thumbnail is going to be on this video when I upload it. So y'all just let me know what you think in the comments and keep it real. This is Tool Lover 76. I'm out.